it's me, Nate, aka Devil Dog, and I'm back with another game review. This time I'm reviewing Sonic Superstars. It was developed by our Zest and Sonic team and published by Sega and released originally on October 17th of 2023 on just about every single gaming system. Let me read you a short synopsis of what they said about this. New thrills, classic feels, adventure through the mystical Northstar Islands in this all-new take on a classic 2K Sonic high-speed action platforming. Features include a new spin on the classic. You've never played classic Sonic like this before. Multiply, swim up waterfalls, change form, and more with the powers of the Chaos Emeralds. Play as Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy Rose, and use their unique abilities to explore and uncover new paths and secrets. More friends, more fun, more Sonic. Honestly, they always have to over-exaggerate, but they're kind of close to that. I do have to say, right after putting this in and playing it, it is classic side-scrolling action that has the classic 2.5D style perspective. So it's got your polygons, but it is still on a 2D side-scrolling plane with some 3D stuff thrown in for the mix, but for the most part, it does play like a classic Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, when you first start out, you have your 4 playable characters. Naturally, you have Sonic, you have Tails, you have Amy, and Knuckles, and as you go through and you are able to actually beat the campaign mode, it will unlock a 5th character known as Trip, and like I said, that's once you beat the campaign. Now, each one of these characters have their own signature moves. Naturally, Tails can fly, Knuckles can climb walls, and Amy uses like a sledgehammer sort of thing. And Trip kind of combines the abilities of both Amy and Knuckles. That's the best way to describe that particular character. Now, as for overall game size, you're looking at roughly 12 zones in the Northstar Islands with a total of 26 different levels. Now, each level that zone you go through has 2 to 3 levels, and at the end of that you pretty much end up fighting a boss. Now, they did mix it up a little bit, and some this game, there's unique acts for each character that you play through, and has some pretty unique styles, new styles thrown in to mix it up a bit to the gameplay, like when you transform into like a voxel art version of your character. That was interesting. It was kind of cool. I'm not a big fan of voxel, but I will say it was nice to see some bit of variety in this. And naturally, as you play through each set of zones or the acts, at the end you have a boss battle, a typical boss battle against Dr. Eggman, And honestly, it's more Sonic. It's not bad. It's not the 3D Rush ones, which those ones, honestly, this plays more like a classic Sonic game. When you go through it, it also has a 2D hub world that you go through where you can select levels and customize your character using coins that you get from playing through the campaign. As you play through levels, collect stuff, find hidden items and stuff, you'll gain these coins that you can use to upgrade your metal avatar, which I'll talk about in a minute. Now, after you go through each campaign with each character, you're looking about maybe 4 hours worth of gameplay for each character to get through these levels. But you need to go through with all 4 characters, beating the campaign, which will unlock Trip. And, once you actually beat all 4 characters and go through the campaign again with Trip, which basically unlocks a harder campaign mode playing as Trip called Trip's Story, a much harder campaign where you can only play as Trip. And there's no game over in this. If you die, it just restarts you at your closest checkpoint, and you continue on. So it's not like a traditional Sonic game where you run out of lives and it's game over. But the only real way to actually see the final boss in this game is you have to go through and beat the game with all 4 characters, getting all of the Chaos Emeralds, and doing again with Trip. And once you have all Chaos Emeralds and all missions done by all 5 of the characters, then you can actually fight the final boss of the game. Now, there's also a couple different special stages in this as well, because you can't have a Sonic the Hedgehog game without having some sort of special stages. And these are basically how you find the Chaos Emeralds and some other things like that. Now, one reminds me of the classic giant, sort of a rotating maze that was from like the 1991 Sonic game, where you have to rotate this maze as you're going through it to be able to get your coins. The other one is it's weird. It's like a 3D style rope swinging level where you swing of these across from these bubbles to try to get to the center to either get a coin or get a Chaos Emerald, and that's how you get the Chaos Emeralds. And naturally, much like most Sonic games, there's 7 total Chaos Emeralds in the game that you have to get. What's really cool though is each emerald you find unlocks a special ability for your character. Like you can clone yourself and make multiple versions of yourself, and other stuff as well, like climbing waterfalls and a bunch of stuff like that, which is actually kind of cool. And it's got a little dial screen that you can bring by tapping the button to bring it up and select it. So at certain times you can switch and do these super moves with the Chaos Emeralds you found. And if you collect all 7, you get to unlock a super form of your character. Once again, normal, Sonic the Hedgehog. But like I said, you have to beat both campaigns and get all the emeralds to fight the final boss and actually truly beat the game. Honestly, that's kind of cool. But the one thing that was really stood out to me that was odd, and I never thought I wanted it until it actually was put into this game, is this game has 4-player online co-op. Yeah, no kidding. You can play through the whole campaign mode with people can drop in and drop out at any time. With the different characters, you can play co-op with this, which I never thought I'd want that in a game, but it's actually pretty dang cool. And oddly enough, this has crossplay, so you can play with someone on Xbox or Switch or anything else. That's kind of cool. Now, here's the thing about the coins I was telling you about to collect to unlock stuff. That is used for a versus mode they have in this. There's even a versus mode, an online versus mode, and you use the coins that you collect throughout the game to build and customize your metal fighter for the versus mode. In the versus mode, there's a classic battle mode, there's a race mode, a collectathon mode, and a last man standing mode. And you use the coins, like I said, to mix and match and pick pieces and modify and customize your metal fighter for the versus mode. Now, a lot of people actually gave this a decent rating. They said it was average, honestly, but my personal opinion on this, it's kind of hard to compare it to anything else other than Sonic Mania in my mind. Visually, this is visually a lot more appealing looking than Sonic Mania is, because Sonic Mania was a classic 2D sprite-based side-scroller. But I did find myself kind of liking Sonic Mania a little bit better, but I do feel that the 4-player co-op in this adds a little bit more bang to the buck to where it's still an overall a fantastic Sonic game. It really is. I mean, it's not like Sonic Origins or whatever it was, the big open world thing. This is more back to the classic side-scrolling of the days of yore, which I actually kind of prefer. And I like the 4-player co-op. It gets a little hectic, but it's a lot funner. The only thing I do have to say about this is I think the price of the game, it's dropped significantly, but when it first came out, it was kind of expensive. They wanted $50 for the original Xbox and PS4 versions, and $60 for the Xbox X and S and the PlayStation 5 versions. So I've never been a fan of paying more, because the PS5 version, it does offer you a performance mode and a fidelity mode, like just about every PS5 game does. Naturally, fidelity mode makes it look a little bit crisper if you have a 4K TV. But I always run in performance mode instead of making it look a little bit visually better, because even though the graphics are really good in this, it's not really something that's going to knock it out of the park where you're pushing really hard stuff on it. Graphically, I think you would just stick with a performance mode over the fidelity mode. But in the end, my personal opinion, I actually can recommend Sonic Superstars. It plays like the classic Sonic games of yore. I love the new level designs. I love the new character. It is a bit of a challenge, really, but once you start unlocking your special abilities with the Chaos Emeralds, it does make the game play a lot better. Honestly, hands down, I had a lot of fun with this game, and I can recommend it to pretty much anyone who's a Sonic fan. Just try to get it when it's at a deal. And I know the price has dropped significantly. I believe you can get it for like $35 now. And that I agree with. That price right there, I would say definitely go and pick it up today. This was Nate, a.k.a. Devil Dog, and I want to thank each and every single one of you for watching this video. Please give me a thumbs up if you like this content. Please subscribe. Give me thumbs up and lots of comments, and I'll answer each and every single one of them. And of course, here at Devil Dog Gaming, we always end our videos by saying, have fun, play hard, and remember, people, the devil is in the details. Peace out till next time.